Second thing I did in Premiere Pro is to set up my keyboard shortcut for my own use. Because when we use Premiere Pro, we both use the keyboard and the mouse together. And in Premiere Pro, there are many commands, many features that we can do that much easier, much faster. Do that by press the button on your keyboard in here, then compare to a mouse that you click on the screen in here. By default, Premiere Pro they have the shortcut key on the keyboard in here. And you can use it, it's good to use, but it's not that good to use. Let me show you why in here. And let me take a look on the screen in here. So if we want to do a zoom in on the sequence, so I can press the equal key on your keyboard. So this is the zoom in, and zoom out the minus key in here. And anytime I can press the last key to zoom or zoom to sequence in here. So this I have to look down my keyboard and press the key in here. And somehow if I want to do, for example, play back the video, I have to click on here to play it and click it to stop it. And if you use your keyboard, you can use it, press the space bar to play it and press the space bar again to stop it in here. So this is the default shortcut. And also in Premiere Pro in here, if we want to do something, for example, I want to export only this portion from here to the end on here. So I have to set up the in point and out point here. In here, if I don't use the keyboard shortcut, I have to zoom in by moving here and go to here and click the in point in here to set the in point. And go back to here and go to the end on here. And I have to zoom in here and go to here and click in here to set the out point. And in here, so I can set the in point and out point and export this portion in here if I don't use the keyboard. If I use the keyboard, that can be very fast to do that. For example, I can just click in here and press the down arrow key once. There can be a in point in here, and press the I key to set the in point. And I can press the end key, go back to the end, and press the left arrow key one frame to the left and press the O key to set the output. Yeah, this can be just 2 seconds to do that when compare use the keyboard, yeah, and the mouse in here. This comparison. And somehow when we do, for example, we do want to cut on here, may they call edit to all track in here. If we do use the mouse in here, so we have to click on here to make a cut on here. And if we use the keyboard, so we have to hold down the control key, hold down the shift key, and press the K key on here. This is the default keyboard shortcut in here. Yeah, this can be long to do that in here. So in Premiere Pro, we can set up our own shortcut key on your keyboard in here. So let me go back in here. Yeah, and let me show in here, we can set up the keyboard shortcut from here. And we can open it here, and this the shortcut keyboard, this the preset come with Premiere Pro. And in here you can use the default Premiere Pro shortcut, or you can use the Premiere Pro CS6 shortcut in here. Or if you know the Media Composer or Final Cut Pro, so you can use the shortcut from Media Composer like this. So you can select the preset in here. This is the shortcut for Media Composer, so you can perform the same kind of shortcut in Premiere like in Media Composer. And same thing for the Final Cut Pro. If you know Final Cut Pro, so you can select the preset from here, so you can use the shortcut key on your Final Cut Pro on your keyboard in Premiere Pro in here. Or if you want, you can design your shortcut key. For example, I have my shortcut key in here, I set up in here, so I call it Young keyboard in here. And this the shortcut key I put in, I set up in all in here with a single click. I don't do a combination, hold down some key and press another key like this. I don't do that. I just do the one click on the keyboard in here, and all the frequency used key I put it on here. So let me show you in how I do that. And let me go back to here, the default one. And for me, I do the zoom in, zoom out, and I can click on here and I press the minus key in here. This the shown out key, so I can see this the shown out in here. So by default, this the minus key on your keyboard on here, and I assign my shortcut key on here. For the shown out, I press the one in here on my keyboard, and I assign this key for the shown out, and I can delete this one and remove it in here. And I can go to the shown in. The shown in is the equal key on your keyboard in here. So the shown in, so we can see this the shown in here. So I click on here and press the key 2 in here to set up the shown in as the shortcut key in here, and I remove the equal key. And for the shown all, this the best last key by default. This the shown true sequence. Yeah, this means the shown all in here. So I can apply for this key, the first one in here, and I can delete this one. So this I assign the shown in, shown out, and shown all on the key on here. And also I do for the edit all. Edit all for the sequence in here. This is the command, and this one is the edit to all track in here. And by default, is the Control Shift and K, like this. Control Shift and K on the keyboard. That can be long to do that. So I can set up my own shortcut key, and I assign the number 3 as my edit to all track in here. So I can delete this one in here. So that will be easy to do for my job in here. And also on the keyboard, I do assign the they call apply video transition, the video default transition. The shortcut key Control D. Yeah, I assign for the W in here and delete this. And for the audio transition, and I click in here for the Q in here for the audio transition, default transition here. And also, let me show you here for the subtle left, subtle right, and play around. And I can go to here. Yeah, I can type in the name subtle. Yeah, subtle left in here. By default, that's the J. Subtle right is L in here, and stop is K. Yeah, the K I don't change them. And in here, subtle left in here, so I press the A key and delete the J key in here, and subtle right in here, and the S key, and delete the L key in here. And also that the play around, they call play around. Yeah, play around by default, that's the Shift K. Yeah, I apply the D key on my keyboard in here, and I delete this. And also for the maximize, and for the screen, they call this the maximize, minimize for the screen. Yeah, in here we can see this maximize or restore frame under cursor in here. So I assign the F key for this, and I will show you later what that means and how we use it. And also I do for the delete. Yeah, the delete, let me go to here from the edit menu in here, the clean. Yeah, this the clean by default is the delete key on here, and I assign the X key for this, and I remove this one. And the ripple delete in here, I assign the Z in here and delete this one, so I assign here. And one more thing is the preference in here for the screen, preference here, and for the playback, this one, this the playback in here, and I assign the P key for the playback on the preference in here. And this the key I use the most often in Premiere Pro. So most of the key except the P key on here, most of the key all in here, so I can just press in here. And now that I finished set up my shortcut key, and I can save it as my shortcut key in here. So I can mark it as keyboard, so I can make it as my keyboard. This is the preset that I save it in here, so I can have my keyboard shortcut in here. In here I can click OK like this. And in here, let me go back to here. So in here we can play around, and in here we can zoom in, just press the zoom in, zoom out like this. I don't need to look down on my keyboard and press the zoom in, zoom out. on there, and I just zoom in, zoom out in here, and zoom to sequence like this, paste in here. And if I want to do, for example, I do a cut in here for all the tracks, so I can paste the number 3 in here, so they cut them, so I can do the editing, adjust the input output, the beginning and the end of the clip in here, so like this. Or anytime that I can press it, so I apply a cut on here. This is easy to do, much easier than you hold down the Control key, Shift key, and press the K key by default shortcut. That can be not that good. Yeah, so I can just press the number 3, so I can add the edit here. And also for the subtle, let me show out this. So let me undo in here. And for the subtle, the A and the S in here, so I press the S key and play normal speed in here, and press the S again, so 2 times playback on to the right in here, and press S again, 3 times speed playback in here. And we can stop it in here, and the A key once, and backward playback normal time, and press the A key again, 2 times backward playback in here, and 3 times backward like this. And somehow if you want to do some checking for the edit in between in here, for example, for the fade in, for the clip in, for the photo in here, and the title in here, we can press the D key for the play around, the D key, so you can go back to couple seconds before and play back couple seconds after on here, so you can check how about the edit in this area. So you can D key play around in here, and the D key play around how many seconds before, how many seconds after, so you can set it in the preference in video default in here, in the playback in here, the second you can set it as the 2 seconds before and 3 seconds after, so you can set it. Yeah, this so we can take a look. D key 2 seconds before up to here, and 3 seconds after like this, so you can check in between this area. Yeah, and about the F key on your keyboard, so let me show all in here. And the F key, when I want to do, for example, to see all the track, if I have a lot of track on here for the audio and video, so I can maximize this screen in here by press the F key. The F key maximize the panel under my cursor in here. This is my cursor. I can move my cursor on the program panel and press the F key to maximize the size for the program view in here like this, and press again the F key to restore it. And also in here, anytime I move my cursor on the project panel in here and press the F key to maximize in here, so I can check the source clip, the video, audio, all in here, so I can do maximize in here. That can be very useful when working in Premiere Pro. And also when we use the, for example, we made some cut in here, yeah, some cut, yeah, in here, and we can delete this, and by default delete it, so you can press the delete key on your keyboard in here. And I set up in here, I just press the X key in here, so my hand don't need to move in here, so I all do it in here like this. I just delete it in here, and somehow if the ripple delete, I can press the Z key like this, the Z key, so I can move it, so I don't need to hold down the Shift key and press the delete key in here in combination, so I can just press the Z key, so this the ripple delete. And even for the space in here, I can ripple delete it, so this is the way I can do it in Premiere Pro. And the last key on my keyboard shortcut is the P key. Yeah, and if I want to show the monitor, the full screen in here, I can go to the perfect here, go to here and click on here. Yeah, this is the P key that I assign on it. Yeah, I can click in here and open up the perfect here and select the screen in here. That will be show the full screen on here. So this can be this the screen, full screen in here. And I have to go to here, here and here to click it by using the keyboard shortcut in here that I use quite often for set it on here or disable, so I can set a P key on my keyboard and this will bring up the preference, and also on the playback in here, so I can disable, and anytime I want it, so I can press that the P key and click on enable, so I can use it in here. This is the way I use the keyboard shortcut in Premiere Pro. I set up my shortcut keyboard all on this area, so I can do the editing and just like this, so I don't need to look down on the keyboard and press here and combination on my keyboard here. That will be much easier to do for editing in Premiere Pro in here. So we can use the keyboard shortcut, and also if you want, you can set up your own keyboard shortcut to use in Premiere Pro as the way I do it in here. This is the one to do.